What's up, guys? Who needs meta here? So I just kind of wanted to talk about the weekend that was. Last weekend we had the NAWCQ in Indianapolis. We had the counter event with RBET, which I was on the judge staff for, and I just kind of wanted to talk about the weekend and then a little bit about the future of retro Yu-Gi-Oh. I guess what happens going forward, especially. I mean, we've all seen a lot of the time travel versus time wizard stuff. Time wizards no longer officially recognized at tier 2 events. From my understanding and talking with people at OTSs, locals for now are not impacted, but we'll get into that later. So Friday, we get in and we're just like, Friday was pretty chill. We're just going to go hang out with the vendors, buy cards, see what everybody's got. And then playing a couple pods. Everyone was like, yeah, we're going to play in pods. We left Friday morning. A lot of people left Thursday in our group, so they were there early on Friday when the venue opened and were able to do stuff. I was able to play in 2 pods, 1 Edison pod, which I lost in the finals, unfortunately, and 1 hat pod. We'll talk about hat later too, where I got cooked round 1. I won game 1, lost games 2 and 3. I'm pretty sure I was playing against Swagger, who got 3rd at the event with Water. I did play against Water, and I'm pretty sure it was him. I could be wrong. I can't quite remember. Really good player. If you've been on Format Library, you've seen the name, you've seen the hat tops, so you know it's a good player. But yeah, nothing really awry. Everything seemed to be firing pretty well for them on Friday. Nothing about the NAWCQ side, any issues that I had, arose from the people working. All of the judge staff, it was very clear that they were not as well staffed as they probably needed to be. So yeah, moving to Saturday, we started the event at about 7:30 in the morning is when the staff got there. We were all there around 7:30. People were setting up the stream. I know that Keegan was able to get into the venue on Friday evening and meet with the staff and set up. University of Indiana, the whole staff was fantastic. The venue was fantastic. The food was fantastic. The event was incredible. I have to give major props to Steven, the TO, and Jorge, the head judge, who did a really good job. And what the work that Yggdrasil did on the mats it was awesome. They did such a good job. I have full faith in them for what they do for us. They're never going to let us down, as far as I'm concerned. They just did a great job. And same with the rest of the staff and the judges. I got to meet on Saturday some really cool people. Shout outs to Murray, shout outs to Ryanide, shout out Ethan, shout out Brandon, Edison Club people. Being able to meet members of the Edison Club and those other players, people I just talked to on Discord. People came up to me and say, hey, I recognize you in the videos. It was really nice. I signed a couple cards. You don't need to feel weird. If you want to come up and say, hey, we signed my snowman here, I have absolutely zero qualms doing that. I think that's so cool. That's so fun. I will do that for anybody if anybody wants me to. I have no problems doing that. I have no problems hanging around and stuff like that and talking and goofing off as long as I don't have, work or whatever. Again, we'll also get into that for the future events a little bit later in the video, but I was really impressed with the sense of community on Saturday. The amount of times that I would be, looking on at a game, it was getting close to time or whatever, and both players on opposite sides of the table are laughing, smiling. Everybody's having a good time. Nobody's, upset. People would ask a ruling question. I would explain the ruling to them, and they would be like, oh, that's cool or whatever. It felt like everybody wanted to learn. We had instances where we could have handed out harsher penalties, especially if we were like Konami, and I'll use my experience on Friday to kind of counter what they were doing, what we were doing on Saturday. So on Friday, I'm in the finals of an Edison pod, and my opponent attacks, and I go, yeah, and I pick up my Lila, which he was attacking over Washira, and I was like, actually, I'm going to Necro Garden to that, and my opponent goes, no, you said I can do that, and the judge was like, you declared intent, you have to allow him to do that, which is obviously very harsh. I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And funny enough, on Sunday in a pod, I had someone do the exact same thing to me, and I said, hey, just a heads up, I don't care, but if somebody else does care, the Konami judges are said, you declared intent, you have to do that. We had someone start with 7 cards, and it's technically a drawing cards major. On Saturday, they drew 6 and then drew for turn accident. It was the start of the game to shuffle one of the cards, random roll a die, pick a card, shuffle, play the game. Everybody was cool. That's the kind of differentiation of vibes of an RBET versus Konami, where Konami is very, very, they have to be very strict with their game, and that sucks. And with us and the community, we get to be a little bit more understanding, a little more empathetic, a little bit more, hey, there is no malicious intent behind this. And so, nobody's trying to screw anybody out or anything like that. Like everybody, it seemed the amount of community was great. It was perfect. Everybody was fantastic. And from the staff to the players, everybody just seems like they were appreciated and appreciative to have a place to play and people willing to help them and facilitate that. Moving forward to Sunday, the pods were not firing, at least for us, for Time Wizard, at a very good pace. It was very slow. Like I would enter a pod and then wait 20 minutes and then people would be like, yeah, I'm in pod. Like I was like, if I was in pod, like say like 20, they'd be like, yeah, I'm right here waiting for pod 22. And it was very slow. And it's just because they were understaffed. And I'm assuming, this is all assumption, that I'm assuming that they were asked to fire regional qualifiers before us, because they were firing those. There were, I think, 10 that fired in the time between I signed up for an Edison pod and before that pod actually played. So that was kind of disappointing. And now the issue with the Attack of the Giant card. We played in a hat pod. Nobody said anything to us, but they enforced the July ban list for hat and not the April one. So it's 1 field spell instead of 2. You don't draw going first. Yugioh gears at 1. And it's like, so there are people who labbed Yugioh to try and win a giant card. And we're told your deck list is invalid. You have 3 Yugioh gears. Like I cannot imagine. Imagine working hard for that and having that happen and being told. I was so tired from Saturday. I originally planned on playing. When I found out I won, I was like, definitely no, we're not doing that. But on Sunday, I was just so tired from the night before. It was a 14-hour day. It was very, very, very tiring. And I think I walked over 15,000 steps according to my phone, which is a lot. We're gonna wear better shoes next time. Yeah, and speaking of next time, again, we're gonna be talking about that. But yeah, for our group, for us here in St. Louis, we had 1 top 8 in the RBET. We had 1 top 8 in the Ultimate Time Wizard, and we had 1 top 8 in the Attack of the Giant card. I think 2 of people in our group elected to actually play in the Giant card, and one of them made top 8, which is really cool. They were supposed to fire that at 10 o'clock. They did not seat until 11:45. Konami does not give a shit about us, and that's why let's talk about the future. The future of Retro Yu-Gi-Oh! In person. That is now for us. That is now belongs to us. That is now on us. It looks like Time Travel will be replacing Time Wizard for Tier 2 events, which is regionals and up, from my understanding. So it looks like, because I talked to someone who organizes regionals, and they said that there was no Time Wizard on the form for like allowed events, and Time Travel was, which is the Winamats. They're going to ask about Winaboxes, but these mats, let's see if these guys, these cool things that we were given. I got a Tengu one. It's up there. I just grabbed the first one I saw. There. I have all of them now, which is the whole point. That's the thing that I was most excited for, playing on Friday and Sunday. I was like, I don't play on the Giant card. I just want to make sure I walk out with a Tengu mat. And I did. And so that's really cool that I have all of them. That is now a piece of our history where we were validated, we were vindicated, we were shown there's a community for this, people will show up, and they did, and we did. And now we have to do that on our own. So I'm happy to announce that I will be on the judge staff for the Midwest Edison Clash on August 23rd and 24th. I'll put somewhere, I don't know, here, I guess, I don't know, on the screen somewhere, the flyer for the event. The pricing is nuts. The first place is a SJC Dark End. Also, we will be firing pods for alternate formats. We only fired one hat pod at the RBET, which was great. I believe it was won by Water. Yeah, it was won by Water. There was only one hat pod, but I don't believe that was very well advertised in the event. That, hey, we're going to be doing, like, there will be specialty pricing for the pods, from my understanding, from, I believe, Pyramid Mats, who's doing the mats for those events. There will be custom mats for alternate formats. Goat will be one. Hat will be another. And I don't know if they're doing Tengu or Redo. I'll have to check. But the idea is, we're going to have our own thing. And that's going to be really cool. RBET is still going strong. There are talks of doing other in-person events. And I'm going to be trying to be on the staff of as many of them as I possibly can, so that regardless of where you're from, I'll be able to come out. We'll be able to hang out. We'll be able to maybe run games after the event or in the evening before in the hotels, trade and do all that fun stuff. I'm really excited for the future of this community. That's going to be significantly more grassroots than it was. That's just how it's going to be. But yeah, that was my experience over the weekend. And talking about the future going forward, I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. I hate saying that shit. I don't like promoting what I do. But this weekend reminded me that if I say things, maybe people sometimes listen. I don't believe that until other people told me that, other people on the staff. I didn't think that, anybody really cared too much about what I had to say. But other people told me that that's not the case. So I really appreciate that. And I definitely don't take that lightly. I'm very grateful that I get to do a thing where I promote a thing that I like. And then other people are receptive to it. So that's that. I don't take that lightly at all. And I appreciate that. So thank you very, very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.